Okay, also, noch habe ich immer eine Archon Quest offen, die immer noch required ist. Eigentlich nicht ganz, ich kann es quick starten, aber für das Event, das eigentlich sogar diese Woche schon abläuft. Das heißt, ich würde mal sagen, ich fange das auch endlich mal an. Das ist ja Interlude Chapter 3. Ich hätte früher gedacht, dass diese Interlude Chapters immer die waren. Wobei, nee, da habe ich mich falsch erinnert. Aber Moment, jetzt kann ich nicht wieder, was ein Interlude Chapter ist. Oh, und das fängt direkt an, wenn ich mich sogar hier hinporte, nice.
Come on, serious suggestions, please. I'm not trying to write a thriller here. It's supposed to be an essay, you understand? An essay. That means facts and logic.
Ja, ich hätte irgendwie letzte Archon Quest mal mit Englisch aufgenommen, aber ich glaube, ich lasse das mal. Das wäre. Ich habe keinen Bock mehr. Ah, und ich habe vergessen, dass hier die Töne zu leise sind.
Well, if it's facts and logic you're after, you shot yourself in the foot with your choice of research topic, didn't you? The Tatara Suna mystery. When so much remains unexplained, there's little to be objective about. Unless, of course, you restrict yourself to textual criticism.
Yeah, well, this is my teacher's area of research. I can't change that. But it's fascinating enough without having to sensationalize it, don't you think? The strange location, the missing details, a mysterious person. I want to write my essay on something interesting, and I'm interested in getting to the bottom of all this. That's the only reason I came to you.
Yes, you came to me, so all the more reason to take my advice. The fact is, it's the dramatization that will make people want to read it. There's no getting around that.
Jo, um was geht's überhaupt?
Okay, but...
Did one of them just mention Tatara Suna? But that's all the way in Inazuma.
Das Lustige ist, ich habe die Quest, glaube ich, in Inazuma selbst noch gar nicht gespielt. Tatara Suna Tales.
Everyone here's just going about their business. Maybe it really is just Paimon. Guess people here are free to research pretty much anything.
Still, let's go listen in.
Great! Let's go find out what this Tatara Suna mystery is all about.
Moment. Inversion of the Genesis. Interlude Chapter, ja. Jetzt weiß ich wieder, was die Interlude Chapters von anderen waren. Ne, ich weiß nur, die von Interlude Chapter 2 war von oder? Das war das, wo man den J-Chamber rebuild hat. Erstmal mache ich mal das Game ein bisschen lauter. So soll's passen. Ah, ich kann ja noch bei der Mail was abholen. Ja, aber Tatara Suna? Ich bin mir recht sicher. Ne, Tatara Tales, nevermind. Tatara Suna. Hä? Was war das nochmal? Ja, ich hab keinen Plan. Moment, ja.
Too slow. Alright, I guess I'll go with my textual criticism and your editorial direction for the first draft. I have a feeling that the missing Kabuki Mono will end up being the main focus of this paper. Ugh, if only we knew where to find that traveler. From what they say about him, this seems like the kind of thing he'd know about.
Ah, okay. Looking for me?
Oh, you're the traveler, you say?
Was?
Hey, what's with that face? Don't believe us?
If you don't believe me, I'll go.
No, of course I believe you. Actually, I first heard about your great exploits when I was still in Inazuma.
Sauer.
This is my first time coming face to face with you and your mysterious silver-haired companion. I couldn't believe my luck, and out of force of habit, I started, examining the evidence. Sorry.
Sawada, for the love of... Sorry, we don't get out much, so our social skills are kinda lacking. Traveler, I hear you've helped many people a great deal and been to many places. Would you be able to tell us about Tatara Suna?
Kein Plan, Mann.
Actually, we don't know much about that place either. In fact, we only came over here because we heard you talking about it and wanted to learn more.
Let's go.
I see.
Sorry, I can't help this time.
My teacher chose this area of research as a personal challenge. He said it's difficult to get into because even Inazumans don't know much about Tatara Suna's past.
This is
But
überhaupt...
who'd have thought that...
If you don't mind, I'd love to show you all my outline for the book I'm writing about Tatara Suna.
Hold on, Sawada. Don't you think that's a bit of a deep dive for a first read?
Well, fair point. In that case, please ease yourselves in gently by taking a look at Akaba's latest essay draft.
Let me give you some background. This all started with the discovery of some records in Tatara Suna. The writings mentioned someone by the name of Mikoshi Nagamasa, who crafted a fine blade. But in the end, he threw it into a fire to destroy it, and killed his servant Katsuragi. Why? Well, no one knows. Apart from the swordmaker, his servant, and the one who wrote this all down, the records also mention a kabuki mono. This seems to be an Inazuman word for an eccentric stranger. Someone who dresses funny or acts in an unusual way.
Klingt nach
That's
Ito.
right. Akaba's teacher has spent quite some time researching these events on the ground. This kabuki mono lived in Tatara Suna for a while before disappearing without a trace. And shortly afterwards, as Akaba mentioned, things got pretty ugly.
So first this strange person goes missing, then a murder happens? Seems kinda fishy to Paimon.
Yes, my thoughts exactly. So I helped out too. I asked everyone I could think of if they knew anything about what happened back then. And wow! Did I get lucky!
Stop shouting!
This part's important. I just wanted to make it stand out. It just so happens that a friend of mine works at the Government Records Office. He looked into it for me, and I can now confirm that all the aforementioned individuals did, in fact, live in Inazuma over 400 years ago. Even back then, Tatara Suna was already at the center of Inazuma's smelting industry. The man in charge was a government official named Niwa. Curiously enough, it seems like he went missing too.
Could it be? Was?
Wait, so there are 2 missing people in the story now?
Kann es sein, dass es die Story Quest von Dings war? So ein bisschen. Ne, warte, ich hab nicht ganz gecheckt, um was es geht, aber es erinnert mich gerade an die Kasua Story Quest, die ich ja noch davor erst gespielt hatte, weil ich die ja spielen musste, um das hier freizuschalten. Stimmt ja natürlich, das ist wahrscheinlich die 2 Leute, weil Kasua Quest muss man ja zuerst spielen, bevor man überhaupt diese Quest hier spielen durfte, die Interlude Chapter. Das heißt, es macht Sinn. Ich hoffe aber erstmal, dass die Archon Quest gar nicht zu lang dauert, weil es ist ja schon 9 Uhr heilige Scheiße. Ich habe keinen Bock. Morgen wieder erste Stunde wie immer. Ich hoffe mal, es geht schneller.
That's right!
Die Archon Quest
What's
sind
more,
2 Stunden, nicht
Niwa
6.
is a name with a lot of history to it. Have
Oder
you ever
weniger als
heard
2.
of the great swordsmith clans of Inazuma?
Nein.
Oh,
Ah,
the
doch.
swordsmiths? Yeah, like Ishin art and so on?
Wow, yes. You really know your stuff. That makes things easier. So basically, this Niwa was a distant relative of the Kaidahara clan, the last practitioners of Ishin art. Something then seems to have happened in the Kaidahara clan, leading to their downfall. I don't know the details, but taken in light of everything else going on around that time, it makes you wonder whether it's all connected somehow.
Es war gut, dass ich erst die Kasua Quest dann jetzt gespielt habe, weil jetzt weiß ich überhaupt noch, um was es
Sawada,
geht.
you left out the biggest detail of all.
There's more.
Oh, yes, of course. How could I forget? Brace your minds, ladies and gents, for they are about to be blown. Or maybe you won't believe your ears. I wouldn't blame you, of course, because in all my years as a writer, this is by far the most.
Get to the point, for Pete's sake.
Pete's?
According to information acquired by Akaba's teacher, the Kabuki Mono was not a human, but a puppet.
Gut. The Shogun puppet... Was? The Shogun puppet that the Electro Archon made should be ruling Inazuma with her as we speak. It couldn't be her. The Kabuki Mono has to be the balladeer, but what was he doing 400 years ago in Tarasna?
Aha! Judging by the looks on your faces, you do know something after all.
Was nochmal mit Wondro passiert, nachdem er besiegt wurde? Ich habe gar keinen Plan mehr. Glared at Paimon and hope she keeps her mouth shut. Okay.
No! Paimon just meant, how creepy. The way you described it makes it sound like a ghost story.
I agree, it does. But considering that non-human races in Inazuma are by no means uncommon, spooky events are to be expected. And that's exactly what my book is about. Please, take a look.
Warum ist der Typ so impulsiv? Holy shit, Alter. Bro, ich bin nicht verrückt, ich lese mir das ganz
and
bestimmt nicht
please read my essay draft as well.
durch. Wirklich, wer liest sich das ernsthaft durch? Ich hoffe niemand, jetzt mal ganz ehrlich.
Sawada was encouraging me to follow his more creative
Wobei-
approach, but I think essays should be grounded in facts. I don't think explaining everything away with mysterious forces will cut it.
Wobei, wenn ich so nachdenke, vielleicht wäre es doch uncool, wenn es gar keiner liest, weil Leute haben sich da Mühe reingelegt. Haben Mühe reingesteckt, das zu schreiben, aber trotzdem, oh mein Gott, Digga, das ist, warum? Warum sollte man so etwas Langes schreiben? Das ist, oh Mann.
Oh, how about if I plug the holes in Sawada's narrative with political intrigue? Like, I could put a turf war between rival factions at the center of the whole series of events.
Wait, you're allowed to just make stuff up? Pretty sure you've gone from essay to guessay there.
Yeah, sounds more like a novel. Has this guy ever even written an essay before?
Akaba, look. Your teacher has researched this extensively. I've reached out to everyone I could think of. Whatever information we have now is all that there is to know. This is as much detail as you're ever going to get. Besides, if there really was a political power struggle going on at anything like the level you seem to be suggesting, what hope would we ever have of finding out the truth?
Good point. Okay, back to the drawing board, I guess. Give me some time. I need to find a new angle on this.
I leave you to it.
We have some other stuff to do, so we'll have to say goodbye for now. Good luck with your essay.
All right, thank you. If you find out any more info about all this, please do let me know. Thanks so much.
Okay.
Hey, so that thing they were talking about, it has to do with the balladeer, doesn't it?
Yes.
Okay, then even if we did know something about it, we probably couldn't share it with them, huh? After all, we kicked his butt and got him locked up. Information about people like
Locked up.
that is usually super confidential, isn't it?
Er wurde eingesperrt, ja, okay, das macht Sinn.
If you ask Paimon, Akaba should just pick a different topic. There must be as many essay topics as there are trees in the forest. There's no point in...
Ah, Bro, was? Warum läuft der einfach da random entlang? What's wrong?
Hey, did you see that? He literally just went by, over there. It looked like...
Hä? Aber das ist der alte.
There. No, it can't have been. He got locked up. Oh, quick, let's catch up and see.
Digga, das ist jetzt alles eine Szene, oder? Ja, nee, nicht eine, aber... Das ist sogar das alte Design, das mit dieses rote Design, was in 1.1 war, glaube ich. In dem Fall würde ich erstmal, da ich an Archon Quest spiele, würde ich sagen, spiele ich mal sowas hier. Aber der Flex-Spot Yelan wird zu Balladeer.
Are you sure it has to...
Weil, naja, es geht hier um den Balladeer auch. Also nehme ich mal Wanderer mit.
Quit following me. Too slow.
Follow the figure you just saw. Wie gesagt, das ist doch der andere Wanderer. Oh, das sieht aber cool aus. Und da steht Nahida. Ah, Digga, dieser dreckige, kleine Biene hat mich hier so fett gestochen. Jetzt mal ganz ehrlich, das ist unglaublich. Das ist unglaublich. Egal. Warum steht die da so?
Traveler, Paimon, there you are. Nahida, bad news. We just saw the balladeer strolling around in public. Did he escape or... Ah, it's him!
Sure enough, you're here.
Hey, what are you doing in the sanctuary of Surasthana? Aren't you supposed to be locked up? I know you must have a lot of questions. Please, allow me to explain. It was my idea to set the balladeer free. We made a deal, and he's gonna do some investigation in Irminsul for me. A deal? Huh. You sure you trust this guy?
What did you expect? Why do you think Sumero would keep me around otherwise? Or maybe killing me is all you can think about.
Aber
But if
das alte
that's the
Design, finde ich, sieht
case,
voll cool aus.
why
Von
haven't you
Wanderer.
done it already?
Don't flatter yourself. It was... Nahida said there's still some mysteries in you to figure out.
Ah, so if it were up to you, you'd finish the job? Guess I had you all wrong. There I was thinking you were just getting cold feet.
Okay.
Well, that escalated quickly. Not a good start. Could I ask you all to please calm down?
Ich stelle mir so vor, was wäre eigentlich Scaramouches Element? Electro würde zu ihm passen, aber zugleich ist es auch zu rot, aber Pyro sieht auch nicht so aus, wenn es zu ihm passen würde. Nemo, ja, I mean, das ist ja sein Redesign, aber ich weiß ja nicht. Ich hätte auch wahrscheinlich eher ein anderes Element ihm zugesprochen, wenn schon Pyro oder Electro. Ich fände, keine Ahnung, ich finde immer noch das alte Design, das hier sieht besser aus als das neue. Auch wenn das neue nicht scheiße ist oder sowas, ich finde, das sieht einfach besser aus. I don't know.
But Paimon's worried about you, Nihida. Don't let him trick you.
It's not every day you see people questioning the God of Wisdom's judgment. Just when you think you've seen it all.
Don't you dare try to drive a wedge between us! As long as the terms are reasonable, I don't think there's a problem in making a deal. Even with the Balladeer.
Well,
Jetzt weiß ich's
I
halt,
for
Bro,
one
wegen
have
diesen
no reason to
blauen
doubt you.
Haaren.
Considering you
Dunkelblaue
even
Haare,
struck a deal with the
Augen.
doctor.
Yes, one in which I gained valuable information. You'll come to understand more about that in the fullness of time. The Balladeer's power was all but completely spent after your battle. He's no longer strong enough to be a strategic threat to us. That puts him in quite a precarious position. Plus, he's a former Harbinger with knowledge of many of the Fatui's sensitive secrets. Being stuck here in Sumeru could make him a sitting duck, depending on how the Fatui plan to respond. Wait a second. Farmer? You mean he's not a Harbinger anymore?
Nö, der hat's ja betrayed.
I take no pleasure in saying this, but it seems as if the doctor had no intention of welcoming back a loser, so...
So he tossed you out like trash.
Sometimes it's you using them, other times it's them using you. Most human relationships are this way. Certainly all the stable ones are. That's how it was between me and the Fatui, and also between each of the Harbingers. So as long as you have some value to offer, nobody will ever abandon you. But after recent events, even I have to admit that I'm not worth quite what I used to be.
Really? What a crying shame.
Well, if the Fatui are gonna reevaluate my utility, I need to have a backup plan for myself.
As we discussed, I don't like causing harm to living beings, and you said you need protection. So, why not join forces with us?
I think these two have made their objection to that idea fairly clear, don't you? And they're your friends, so I guess you'll be siding with them.
Yeah, obviously! Nihida, don't listen to him!
Shut the fuck up,
And
Paimon.
let's put that discussion to the side for now.
Kurt,
We still have
Tenari-Sprecher,
Today
ehemaliger.
can be a trial run. Where we go from here will depend on how well we manage to cooperate today.
All right, then I'll do what we agreed.
Good. Go now, and keep in touch. Nihida, are you serious about this? Yes. I have my reasons for this decision. In fact, I'm largely doing it for your benefit.
For me? Was?
Yes. As I told you once before, there's information about your twin in Irminsul. Oh, yeah. Actually, that's the whole reason we came to see you today. So, you have an update on that?
Ja, warte, wirklich?
You may remember me mentioning that the Fatui had not included your twin's details in the Descender category. This is an extremely important point. It's possible that the Fatui have other information that even I don't know about. And since the Balladeer used to be one of them, he'll be better acquainted with this information than I am. He was granted the power to connect with Irminsul when he almost became the god of a new era. Even though he no longer has the Gnosis, some traces of its power remain in him. He can still connect. The amount of information in Irminsul is vast beyond description. Sifting through all of it without knowing what to look for would take too long, even for me. So I asked the Balladeer to search in Irminsul for any information about the Descenders. He's more familiar with this kind of information, and should be able to find it more quickly.
What if he lies to you?
Exactly! Or what if... Paimon just doesn't trust him! He's treated us as enemies every time we've run into him. I understand. But sometimes, everything is dictated by which side you're on. How things will go in the future depends on what information he brings back. And Traveler, I know what your heart desires most of all.
Und was ist
Our
das?
minds have connected several times before. There is a corner of your heart reserved for an intense longing.
Was hast du bekommen?
A feeling of being all alone in the dark.
Weil ich nur
Searching
schlechte
for the
Artefakte
one
bekommen?
candle whose light still burns.
Ja.
As Sumeru's deity, it is my responsibility to be on guard against the Balladeer. But as someone who counts you as a friend, I want to do something for you.
Dann lass mich mit guten
If this
Deepwood
deal
Memories
with the
Artefakten
Balladeer
machen.
can give you the answers you've been longing to find, then it's worth it.
Thank you, Nahida. Digga, dafür will ich heute aber gute Deepwood Memories Artefakte bekommen.
It's my pleasure, really. You're Sumeru's hero. You've more than earned it.
Boah.
Paimon's still worried about this idea. Is there anything we can do to help? I was going to contact you about that, but then you suddenly showed up on your own accord. Seems like we have a telepathic connection. In fact, I was going to ask you to supervise the Balladeer on my behalf while he carries out the task I assigned. Even though he only has a fraction of his full power left, that's still a fraction of a former Harbinger. If you could accompany him, it would put my mind at ease. Of course, I'll be there to help guide you through Irminsul from the outside.
Got it.
Great. Thank you. Prepare yourselves. I'm going to transport you into Irminsul.
Je länger ich mir Nahidas Design anschaue, desto hässlicher finde ich die. No offense.
Pretty different here compared to last
Oder
time.
Full Front.
The colors are gentler. Guess that must be because Sumeru's at peace now.
Ha.
Look at that. Hot on my heels. You know, you didn't have to cut your catch-up short just to keep me company. Oh, but I guess you panicked when you realized that I might enter Irminsul ahead of you.
Nahida sent me to babysit you.
Shut your beak, jailbird! No way a prisoner gets to be so smart!
Jailbird.
I understand that prisoners
ja,
have to put up with
Wortwitze.
harassment from the guards. But right now, I'm on temporary release. So maybe you should think about backing off a little.
Sounds like a successful rendezvous. I need to be quite clear about something. In a few moments, you'll be entering into the innermost region of Irminsul. It is an environment like no other, and the most important place in all of Sumeru. Unlike anywhere else, Irminsul's inner region consists exclusively of torrents of information. You must put aside your differences and be extremely careful as you navigate your way through. I know there are many grievances between you, on both sides, but it is essential that you remain calm after entry. This is as much for your own safety as anything else.
Understood.
Fine. Let's call it truce. But only until this mission's over.
Let's cut each other a little slack, shall we? We are gonna be traveling together after all. Per my agreement with Lesser Lord Kusanali, I'll be at the front. It's my job to lead the way and get rid of any obstacles in our path. All you have to do is keep your pretty eyes open and try not to fall behind.
You sure are confident. Paimon will give you that. You make it sound like you're even more experienced at adventuring than us.
If there are no further objections, I suggest we get going. Or did you need some time to mentally prepare yourselves?
Ew! Ugh, the snark on this guy. It's unbearable.
Focus on doing your work. Okay.
We can start now.
Irminsul access granted. Initiating connection procedure. Is this a small sapling? Oh, darn it! Come on, let's catch up with him. Wow. So this is the inside of Irminsul.
It's different than what I imagined.
Ooh. never seen anything like
Ja,
this.
sieht aber actually cool aus.
And it feels like a sacred place.
Ja, aber ganz ehrlich, hier dieses Character
Irminsul
Design
is
vom alten
closely
Scaramouche
intertwined with the
ist so
entirety
cool.
of Teyvat. Every bit of information flowing here means something. Pick your jaws up off the floor. It's time to go.
Why is it that Paimon just wants to do the opposite of everything he says?
Lesser Lord Kusanali, we will now proceed to the heart of Irminsul.
Can you still sense where the heart of Irminsul is?
Yes. Permission to begin searching for information there?
Permission granted. Go ahead.
Let's go. Stay close. Don't go running off.
Hey, so say we did go running off in here. What would happen?
Ach, Digga, Paimon, Fresse.
What are you smirking at?
I was just imagining the look on your travel companion's face if you went and got lost. Anything's possible in here. You can't rule anything out. So if you want to stay safe, your best option is to stick close to me.
Ja, wirklich, sein Character Design sieht so viel besser aus hier, finde ich. Ich kann nicht mal F3 drücken gerade.
These sapling things have spread out.
Those are all packets of information from inside Irminsul. Be careful not to touch them.
Locations changed. Looks like we've been transported to a different location.
It looks the same in every direction.
Space is indeed unusual, but it seems that the Baldi is more used to it than I. Hey Digga, was ist das?
No
Come
wonder
on.
he mentioned about getting lost. Huh. What do you know? He was actually telling the truth. Is he mocking me again? What is it this time?
Kann ich hier einfach in
There's a time and a place to lie, but this definitely isn't it. So why don't you relax your guard a little?
Okay. I guess. Okay, gut.
We're here.
What a huge tree!
This is the center of Irminsul. All the information in the world is flowing through it.
Lesser Lord Kusanali,
Good, you made it. Are you ready?
ready when you are.
Ready
Then
when
please
you
begin.
are.
Preparing to access cognitive currents.
Stimme, wenn man ihn ins Team legt.
Establishing waypoint. The Balladier's actually doing what Nahida tells him. Guess he must want to stay alive.
Ach, wirklich. He hasn't put up any resistance and he seems good at working on the front end. Maybe he... Was? First Akaba and Sawada stories, now this. What a strange individual.
The rest is up to you. If you discover anything at all, make sure to share it with us.
Will do.
Huh. For once, we're the ones with nothing to do. Traveler, Paimon, would you like to talk?
Aida, is this a telepathic conversation?
Yes. I've also invited Paimon to join.
Ah, okay.
Huh?
It's a private call.
What the? We can talk to each other inside our heads?
I'm guessing that you don't want us to disturb the Balladeer?
That's part of it. Plus, we're all friends. There's nothing wrong with us talking like this once in a
Ah,
while.
du bist mich gefucking dodged,
Paimon's
Alter, du
never
hässliches
tried this
Viech.
before. This is great! So, Paimon's been wanting to ask you something. Don't you think the Balladier's a bit of a walking contradiction? He's always talking back, but he seems to listen to what you say.
Yes, and he seems to excel at doing odd jobs for others.
As I've told you before, there are still some mysteries for him to resolve. Things that are clear as day to me, but that he has yet to understand. Perhaps today will be the day that he finds some answers.
Is this about his past, the betrayals, and the other events in Inazuma?
Well done. Smart and attentive as always.
Actually, I caught a glimpse of a few things when I ran into a Hypatia at Pardus Dia. Was? Di.
So, you made contact with that part of his mind. Well, it's true. Betrayal turned the Balladeer into the person he is today.
Huh. Paimon thought nothing could get under that guy's skin. Turns out, he can get hurt and angry just like anyone else.
Everyone has a history, Paimon. Even if you're a puppet created by the Archon.
Speaking of puppets, we ran into two people at the Academia today talking about an essay. Turns out their topic was about the Tatara Suna incident. Nahida, do you know anything about that?
If you mean the mysterious events, the Kabuki Mono and so on, yes. I know about all of that.
Really? Because from what they were saying, it sounded like lots of Tatara Suna's history is still unexplained. And most of the information we have now is just from people filling the gaps with their imagination. At least that's what they thought.
You tell Nahida about the story of Akaba and Sawada, right?
Oh? How interesting. Those two managed to deduce quite a lot through guesswork alone.
So the Gase got it right?
Well, they guessed right about one thing. Tatara Suna was sabotaged.
Must be a riveting conversation you three are having. Funny how all the good ones happen when I'm not involved.
What makes you think we're talking to
Also
each other?
stillest.
Don't insult me. You're having a private conversation without me. Obviously, I must be the topic of said conversation.
We have every right to keep certain things confidential. Okay. Topic of said conversation. Mein Englischlehrer hat mich immer kritisiert, dass ich sowas nicht schreiben soll. Ich weiß nicht mehr warum. Ob es einfach nur Stil war oder Grammatik. Egal, passt.
Of course you do. You can't have your prisoner knowing too much.
So, have you found anything yet?
Still looking. Don't get your hopes up, though. You and your twin come from outside this world. It wouldn't surprise me if there was nothing on either of you in Irminsul at all.
Wait, how did you know about that? Did Nahida tell you?
It's not like we've never met before. And anyway, you're world famous. It'd be more surprising if I didn't know a few things about you.
Every conversation with you is hard work, but your attitude is better than I thought.
Right now, we have to keep the peace. I'm not interested in creating more misery for myself. And making cordial conversation is something I can manage.
Cordial.
Huh? Wait.
This light. It looks similar to those saplings. What could it be?
Anonymous data.
Hey, don't you forget the agreement. You have to share it with us.
Der hat Schimmer, Paimon.
Shh. Just wait.
Mr. Niwa, are you certain this is worth the risk? We are talking about Tatara Suna's furnace, after all. It may not pay to act rashly.
There's no one else who can enter the furnace. It has to be me.
Is that so? Well, since you insist.
It's...
Warte, that name. Niwa was the man in charge at Tatarasna, plus he belongs to the lineage of Ishin art.
Whoa!
Bitte was?
I have been in Tatara Suna for some time now. You have shown me great hospitality, as has Mikoshi Nagamasa, and indeed, everyone else. Under your leadership, Tatara Suna is a warm, welcoming place, like a giant village. People are gainfully employed, their lives have purpose, they are motivated. As I understand, the Raiden Shogun has, in recent years, eliminated much of the evil that plagued Inazuma. As for Tatara Suna, it was originally established as a means of safely disposing crystal marrow. The forging industry with crystal marrow as a raw material has since flourished, giving rise to generations of swordsmiths. Some world-renowned, others unknown, all passing on their legacy. Skills, blood, dreams. Every smith brought into this trade looks to find their purpose between steel and blade. That is why you accepted the proposal brought to you by myself and Akame.
Akame.
Yes, well, were it not for you coming to Inazuma and happening to make Akame's acquaintance, the two of you never would have joined forces. And he would be the first to admit that there's no way he could have revolutionized our forging process like this on his own. At least not on the same timescale.
Akame gleich
You
rote
allowed
Auge.
Akame to take all the
Rotes
credit
Auge.
for a method that you jointly developed. He sold it to me, and now every piece of ore here is smelted using the new technique. Even now, you remain one of Tatara Suna's key consultants, working right here alongside us. I believe it is you, sir, who are truly responsible for the changes in our manufacturing and forging methods.
You flatter me. From the outset, I saw much that was commendable in the forging industry of Inazuma. And it has been my great honor to befriend you all.
So you say,
Escher
Escher.
ist aber ein deutscher Name.
But is this
Nicht?
really the truth?
My good sir, what do you mean?
I tried to resist thinking it was all connected. Because I didn't want to speculate. And I didn't want to believe that things could turn out this way. What have we gained from adopting your new technology? Ominous black smoke? Mounting production problems? Worker fatigue and casualties are up and continuing to rise at an alarming rate. And recently, as you well know, someone died because of that strange filth inside the furnace. We've kept the truth from spreading outside, but still, I suspect you understand it better than I do. None of the people who went out to get help have come back. Now, our mutual friend, the Kabuki Mono, is taking the Golden Feather to Narukami Island to seek an audience with the Shogun. This is our last hope. But that doesn't faze you, does it, Escher? Nothing does. Otherwise, why would you still be standing there with that smile on your face?
I'm just surprised that you finally chose to be so sincere. I'm sure you've been harboring these suspicions for quite some time.
Mikoshi Nagamasa may have noticed that there was one common denominator among all these events. Namely you, Escher. But Mr. Mikoshi is more cautious than I. He does things by the book.
After all, Nagamasa is the adopted son of Mikoshi Torichio, the yokai struck down by the Shogun's own hand. If he truly seeks to redeem his family's honor, an abundance of caution is well advised.
You're well informed on the subtleties of his situation for a mechanic all the way from Fontaine. Are you sure you're not a little
Was
overqualified?
ist das ein Franzose?
Why, Mr. Niwa, are you suggesting I find a job as a diplomat? Sadly, I am so very attached to my craft.
Enough, Escher. I'm here because an evil force is raging inside the furnace. And someone needs to take your new device inside the high-risk zone so we can absorb it and put an end to the problem. I'm in charge here. And I'm about to take some responsibility and head inside. Probably to my death. But what about you? What are you still doing here?
Judging from the look in your eyes, you don't seem to trust me.
Drop
Oh,
the
wow.
act. We're past that now. Whoever you are, it looks like your plan to destroy Tatara Suna has worked. I just want to know what you're still doing here. What's left? Don't you have all your answers by now?
Honestly, I'm just waiting for the right moment.
Ja, Digga, also
A
irgendwie.
moment like this, where you finish talking and I stop you from entering the furnace.
You!
Ah, okay.
You're a little smarter than I initially gave you credit for.
Zu dumm zu checken,
I
was der
thought I
dich
disguised
eventuell
myself
versuchen würde zu
exceptionally
töten.
well, at least for the first few days. But to my surprise, you had your people look into my background right from the start. It's a long journey from Inazuma to Fontaine, but that didn't stop them. Eventually, they managed to confirm that Escher was an alias, and that I was not from Fontaine at all. And yet, despite all of that, you still fail to realize my true identity, and what I seek in Tatara Suna.
Did you really think you would be able to see through my plan?
Ist der Doktor? Was?
If you kill me, there's no one who can get inside the furnace. So you're really going to destroy this place? Is that it?
Oh, but you're quite wrong. There is one other person. Some may not see him as a person, but you told him yourself. You're not a puppet. You're a human. You're just missing a heart.
Ach, das ist der Kumpel, der stirbt.
Whoever you're working for won't get away with this. They'll be found out. But this makes no sense. What are you really trying to accomplish by all this? Why go to all this trouble?
It's no trouble at all. Patience is a virtue which I have in abundance. This is all part of a carefully controlled experiment. If you must know, I'm happy to divulge my true identity. I'm a Fatui Harbinger. Call me the Doctor.
The Fatui? Who? What do you want?
Just to create a minor inconvenience for your nation.
That's it? That's why you gave us your cursed technology? Just to let loose the evil energy from the crystal marrow?
Look how even the righteous soul is filled with venom when faced with its demise. My device functions precisely as you say. It is the only chance you have of preventing a catastrophe and keeping the truth from the outside world. However, I did not make it with you in mind. It is easier for a person to be possessed by evil spirits when they are filled with hate. So give in to your fury. I want to see what happens when a malevolent heart is placed into an unsuspecting puppet.
Bitte was?
Make no mistake, even without you, that pure, innocent puppet would only end up being used by someone else instead. What other reason would a human have for befriending one who is not of our kind?
If you give him my heart, tell him that both Nagamasa and I see him as one of us.
Wahrscheinlich wird er dem das
He
sagen.
has
Hä?
nothing to prove to anyone. Because not everyone just wants to use other people. The only ones who think like that are people like you.
Okay.
What a beautiful way to see the world. It almost makes me feel a little guilty. Then out of respect for you, I shall redefine myself. Think of me as a monster or a demon, if you wish. At least this way your death is not a consequence of your own folly turning you into an easy target. You simply lost to something more powerful than you could ever hope to defeat. I say, Mr. Niwa, let's see what happens. Will your puppet friend become a human? No, that will prove quite impossible. Mr. Niwa? Already dead. What a pity. Jester, I have completed the task you gave me. Creating a gap and infiltrating Inazuma's inner workings. What fun it was.
Ist Jester nicht auch ein Fatui Harbinger?
I'd like to introduce a puppet to you. If he proves useful, let's make him our newest comrade. And if not, let's turn him to dust.
Okay.
Hey, are you alright?
Dottore. Dottore!
Ey, das Gute ist halt wiederum, hier dieser Voice Actor ist voll gut, aber die Animation ist irgendwie so zu kacke. Einfach so, weil diese Emotionen in solchen Gesichtern nicht wirklich so gut gezeigt wird. Denkt man sich so, irgendwie ist diese Körperhaltung nicht so ganz entsprechend von dem, was sie aussagen.
Good. Good.
Was that the doctor? Did he turn into a mechanic from Fontaine?
I'm afraid so. He was the one behind the Tatara's incident.
But why did we see things from his perspective?
When I touched the doctor to confirm whether he'd eliminated all his segments, I read this memory in his mind. You have to admit, it must be the truth.
Maybe so. But it means nothing.
Does it? But this memory shows that Niwa didn't betray you. He never meant for you to be the one to take the device into the furnace. You know very well what that means. Even more so than I.
This betrayal was a lie. He has believed for hundreds of years. Was this part of the Doctor's experiment? If the betrayal never happened, it existed only in his imagination. But where does this leave him?
Let's give him some space.
Sushi Jojo, was geht?
He
Willkommen im
looks
Stream.
really mad. Paimon doesn't want to be anywhere near him right now.
Okay, let's go over there.
We need to give him some time to process his emotions.
Hey, wie lang geht eigentlich die
I'm
Quest?
still
Frage ich mich
confused
noch
about the
eigentlich.
Tatara Suna incident. So, the doctor was behind it, but why has that gotten him so worked up?
Nobody has ever deceived you like that, Paimon. It's natural that you find it difficult to understand. Perhaps he needed to learn this someday. So now you have the complete picture. Katsuragi took the Kabuki Mono to live with the people of Tatara Suna. Later, the doctor showed up, disguised as a mechanic from Fontaine. And that's when the trouble began. It was all a horrific experiment planned by the doctor. Everything he did was just to plant seeds of disaster in Inazuma that would bear fruit in the future. Of all the unwitting participants in the doctor's experiment, the balladeer became the main test subject. After the events you just saw in that memory, the doctor put Niwa's heart into the device and handed it to the balladeer. Then, he instructed him to enter the furnace and absorb all the filth caused by the smelting process. The load was far beyond what he expected, but the balladeer survived. He left the furnace in sheer exhaustion and said to the mechanic, "This device seems to have protected me. What's in it?" The mechanic answered, "Niwa fled this place for fear of punishment, but he left you a gift. He said it's the one thing that you've been looking for." He took it straight from the chest of one of his innocent servants. The mechanic removed the withered heart from the device as he spoke. The balladeer was stunned that such unthinkable cruelty had brought him the thing he'd been longing for his entire life. A heart acquired through cold-blooded murder is a cursed thing, but it has protected him from the filth. He thought Niwa had completely betrayed him, and yet this very betrayal had ensured his survival. Overwhelmed with anger and sorrow, the balladeer threw the heart to the ground and left Tatara Suna without looking back.
Holy moly. So the doctor killed an innocent man and pinned everything on the victim? That's terrible.
Being betrayed and abandoned by a close friend is sure to cause great resentment. Now we know what was behind his decision to take revenge on the Raiden Go-Karten 100 years ago. Okay. Was machst du? Was ich mache ist, naja, ich glaube, man sieht es die Archon Quest spielen. Ich hoffe, die geht nicht allzu lang, weil morgen habe ich wie immer erste Stunde. Naja. But it does mean that vengeance was the right decision.
Yes. Only if he understands this can he choose a new path forward.
Geht. So, Mystery of Tatara's.
Tatara, you brazen-faced... Niwa didn't run from justice. You killed him.
Kann ich ein bisschen herumlaufen? Was soll ich jetzt machen? Soll ich mit ihm wieder reden? Nee. Geht schon lang, wenn du alles durchschließt. Oh no.
Shall we see how he's doing? Hey, you alright? That's a scary expression.
Was ist... Hä?
Are you worried about me? If we didn't have such a history, I'd almost think that qualifies me to be your friend.
We just want to make sure this doesn't affect the plan. Digga, der Typ ist aber auch so ein Tsundere, jetzt mal ganz ehrlich. Das ist auch unglaublich.
It won't. I'll keep my end of the deal.
Hey, are you investigating the stuff we want to know about?
That's why we're here. But unfortunately, there's no information about the Descenders in Irminsul.
Even if you can't find anything, that seems to confirm it. Irminsul does not keep records on the Descenders. Anyone who comes from beyond this world is not counted as part of Tevat.
Oh, does that mean we have to leave empty-handed?
Moment mal. Main Story 5... Was? Ach nee, warte, das ist Act 3. Ach egal. Not unexpected, but still, thank you. Ich hatte gerade eben das hier kurz nachgeschaut, Moment. Hier so. How long is Act 3 of Genshin Impact? Und dann 15 Stunden, 45 Minuten. Ja, das macht Sinn. Main plus Extras. All Playstyles. Aber das macht gefallen, das stimmt nicht ganz. Das ist was ganz Act 3 und das ist was anderes. Ja, not unexpected, but still, thank you.
Don't thank me just yet. You look really upset. Well, since Irminsul was a dead end, I guess I can share some other info that might interest you.
Huh? About what?
The reason why there are records about your sister in Irminsul. It might have something to do with Conria. Apparently, Conria was her first destination when she arrived in this world. Plus, she only came to this world because the heavens responded to the summoning.
Bitte was?
The heavens responded?
The Jester told me this himself. You can take his word on this. He was a royal mage in Conria, and lived with your sister for a time.
The Jester, another Fatui Harbinger? Why?
I don't know the details. It's up to you whether you want to believe me. All I can say is, I wouldn't lie to you about this. Did you get all that, Lesser Lord Kusanali?
Yes. Astonishing news.
Does this info count towards my mission? It wasn't from Irminsul, but was it valuable?
Very valuable.
Good.
Okay.
In that case, I'll take some time for myself now.
Der Typ sieht ein bisschen mad aus.
Huh? What have you done?
Lesser Lord Kusanali was right. My power's all but completely spent. Even if I use all of the divine power left in me, I can't sustain this shield for very long. I shared a secret with you, and now you owe me. So in return, I'd like you to answer a question for me.
What do you want to know?
Give me your hand.
Bitte was? Warum ist so ein Katzenmund, jetzt mal ganz ehrlich?
Can you hear my voice inside your head?
Are you trying to brainwash me?
No, I can't do anything like that anymore. At most, all I can do is exchange a few words with you.
Ey, das ist aber wirklich dieser Katzenmund. Jetzt mal ganz ehrlich, was hat Paimon für einen Mund? Heilige Scheiße, dieser Winkel ist nicht natürlich. Jetzt mal ganz ehrlich. Okay, die Augen sind auch absolut... Digga, diese Augenbälle sind aber eigentlich auch größer als der Kopf selbst, wenn man sich diese Krümmung anschauen würde von der Oberfläche, aber egal. Ja.
So tell me, in this world, is it possible to change the past?
Bro, warum fragst du mich das? Woher soll ich das wissen? Heilige Scheiße. Aber ich würde mal davon ausgehen, dass es zeitlinear ist. Wait, why would you ask? Why would you ask that?
Done.
Okay.
Huh? What the? What happened? Paimon only saw you hold hands for a second.
Nothing. I was just thanking him for helping me.
Oh. Holy shit. Moment.
So long.
Ah, kacke, ich hab's gerade nicht
I
gesehen.
suggest you get yourselves out of here quickly.
Thomas hat gerade wirklich... Das war unsafe. Moment. Egal, ich mach's so. Hier. Chat zwischen Thomas und mir. Was ist das? Was ist das? Egal. Wer will einen Call? Da bin ich auf jeden Fall dabei. Hallo, Thomas.
Hallo.
Ich stream gerade, mach gerade die Archon Quest, das heißt, ja. Falls du dich fragst, weshalb ich irgendwelche random English Lines ausreden werde oder weshalb ich irgendwelche komischen Reaktionen habe ohne Kontext,
Und tatsächlich.
das ist der Kontext.
Warte, komm mal kurz in meinen Stream.
Ich frage mich immer noch, ob er seine Antwort hat, weil der Traveler hat ja nicht wirklich Ja oder Nein gesagt. Ja, das frage ich mich auch. Ja, warte, welchen Stream meinst du? Playing for 17 minutes. Okay, warte, ich stream deinen Stream auch. Jo, was ist da? Du machst einen 10-Pull. Oh. Ich schwör, du kriegst... Okay, vielleicht auch nicht.
Ich will diesen Forster haben.
KW. Vertrau mir, den kriegst du
Ich habe
jetzt.
dafür sogar extra gerade Floor 9 Spiral Abyss gemacht, aber...
Oh wow, Floor 9. Egal, du kriegst jetzt noch ein... Das wird ein Double Forster und das... Okay, vielleicht auch nicht.
Nope. Okay. Oh, warte.
Du könntest doch eine Benny-Con holen. Just saying. Eine Benny Constellation.
Kann ich, aber brauche ich die?
Ja. Welche Constellation ist denn Bennett?
Vielleicht. Ich glaube C1.
Ja, Digga, dann auf jeden Fall. Also bis C5 ist ja
Weil
alles.
ich glaube, ich
insane.
bin jetzt... Ich will mir irgendwie jetzt ein Wish so kaufen. Komm.
Okay. Das wird jetzt KW. Vertrau mir. Ich hab's dir
let's go.
gesagt. Ich bin so ein Profi, Mann. Congrats.
Der wird halt niemals
Erfolgreiche-
gebildet werden,
Aber erfolgreiche Wishing-Session, würde ich sagen.
weil
12
der
Puls.
so ein Zeug braucht und ich weiß nicht mal, wo man das findet.
Das ist in der neuen Region, Mann. Ich habe auch keinen Plan. Ich habe die auch noch nicht mal erkundet.
Aber jetzt noch schöner Standard-Banner-Pull.
Hat er Nido? Nein, hat er nicht.
Nope.
Nicht, Digga, nicht jeder hat Nido, vor allem er spielt nicht mehr aktiv.
Ich wollte den einfach nur, weil der cool aussieht. Und ich hatte genug Wishes, deswegen. Okay.
Schade.
Will ich
Ja.
den noch einmal im Team sehen und dann bin ich auch schon wieder raus aus Genshin.
Oh, okay. Dann zeig mal dein Team. Okay.
Ich habe den da tatsächlich auch noch nie gespielt.
Digga, Mika ist aber auch so hässlich, wirklich.
Ah.
Wirklich. Der ist... Wer dachte sich beim Character Design, lass ihm so eine komische Locke
Der sieht
dort
ehrlich
unten.
einfach kacke aus.
Seine Augen, Digga, das sind solche
Spear-User.
Glubschaugen, Digga. Das ist so eine Sub 5. Das ist so ein 1 out of 10. Das ist
Ich finde halt
unglaublich.
die E von dem so cool, einfach so ein Scan.
Mika cute, Digga. Nein, Mika ist nicht cute, jetzt mal ganz ehrlich. Wirklich.
Also überhaupt nicht, der sieht voll
Wirklich.
kacke aus.
Mika, nein, der ist nicht cute. Der ist absolut nicht cute. Der ist so eine 1 von 10. Das ist unglaublich.
Kriegt den Rain
Das
Slasher.
ist wirklich, also normalerweise ist es ja schwer für Anime-Charakter wirklich hässlich auszusehen, aber Mika ist wirklich schon. Der ist wirklich subbar, das ist unglaublich. Der ist so hässlich. Ja, ist heftig, Mann. Digga. Wirklich. Wirklich. Was ist daran cute? Oh mein Gott. Oh mein Gott. Ich hate Mika so sehr, aber wirklich.
Aber der sieht echt cool aus. Ich fühle seine Normal Attacks nicht so, aber seine E ist echt
Ja.
fresh.
Meinst du Mika? Oder? Egal, ich mach jetzt erstmal die
Nein,
Archon.
Kaveh.
Achso. Ja. Hate Mail Traveler. Okay. Warte, ich mache jetzt wieder meine Archon Quest dann. Also,
Jo, ich bin auch raus aus Genshin.
Balladeer, stop! Paimon, we have to stop him.
Fast reaction time. But I don't think we'll be seeing each other again.
Ja, Ita ist so viel cooler als Lumin. Sag's
From
so,
this
wie's
day
ist.
forth, the names Balladeer and Kabuki Mono will cease to
Nee,
exist.
actually, ich finde Lumin schon ziemlich even mit
Nee,
Ether.
Mann.
Weil Lumin, Ich weiß nicht, ich mochte ihr Character
Wobei,
Design am
ich muss
Anfang
halt
gar
auch
nicht.
einfach sagen, ich spiele halt gern Male Main Character.
Ja,
Weil ich halt männlich bin.
das macht Sinn. Aber, I mean,
Wenn
so
das
wenn
ein
ich es mir
Argument ist.
anschaue, ich mochte am Anfang Lumin auch deutlich weniger als Ether. Ich fand auch ihr Design am Anfang voll viel schlechter. Danach habe ich gedacht, es geht. Es geht.
Ich will aber einfach mal so ein cooles Game spielen, wo der Main Character wirklich usable ist. Und wo der halt mal cool aussieht, weißt du?
Starrill könnte ja usable sein.
Ja, der ist usable, aber sieht einfach bland aus.
Ja, das stimmt.
Ja, wenn man Witcher spielt, man hat Geralt von Rivia.
Kein Plan, was
Der
das
sieht
ist.
aus wie ein Macher.
Aber weißt du, es regt mich so auf, dass ich die Münze geworfen habe, immer noch. Dieser Female Main Character bei Starrill ist einfach so viel schlechter als der Male. Es tut mir leid, aber der Male einfach. Okay, es liegt vielleicht daran, dass ich selbst gerne ein bisschen impulsiver bin, so wie der Male Traveler. Aber Digga, der sieht so viel besser aus in seiner Animation. Das ist unglaublich.
Das kann schon sein, ja.
Das ist unglaublich. Hast du dir schon die Female Animation gesehen beim Burst? Das ist. Digga, die zieht da einfach nur ihren Dings so raus wie aus so einer Hosentasche. So, du hast da irgendwie einen Baseballschläger in der Hosentasche versteckt. Okay, gut, sorry. Und der Mail Traveler, Digga, der lädt das so richtig auf mit elektrischer Energie. So komplett voll auf 7 Milliarden, Billionen, Quadrillionen, was auch immer, Volt auf und was weiß ich, Digga, seine Animation ist einfach so fett.
Ja, der lädt einfach seinen Schläger auf.
Das ist
Aber ich
unglaublich.
weiß nicht, wie es bei Fire Trailblazer ist. Vielleicht ist es da anders.
Ja, okay. Soweit bin ich halt mit Abstand noch nicht. Egal, ich glaube, ich mach mal die Arkham
Dann
Quest.
kommst du auch hin.
Ich habe gesehen, dass deine Himmelkürzelle 49 ist.
Ja, ich habe gestern so Ascension Quest gemacht.
I see.
Ich kann die, glaube ich, sogar auf Dings bringen, auf
69.
60.
So.
Ja, mal gucken.
Ich habe Welt bekommen.
Lass die im nächsten Update,
I see.
was heißt nächsten Update, in 7 Tagen,
Den Eisen.
kommt dieser neue Typ raus und auf den will ich wischen.
Den Charakter zweimal.
Und das ist halt...
Achso. Ja, ich werde auf den vielleicht auch pullen, aber ich habe nur so 20
Der ist halt auch genau wie Himiko so mehrere Dings.
Ja,
Weißt du, was ich meine?
Ja, aber der sieht cool
Ja.
aus. Und ich habe sowieso keinen...
Sieht sau cool aus.
Ach, egal. Ich meine, ich hätte einen Shielder, dann könnte ich ein Multitarget mir holen, dann noch ein Single-Target oder was auch immer. Ja. War kurz vorm Heulen, Back-to-Back 10-Pull. Alter. Und dann, was krieg ich? High Pity 50-50 Loss auf Deya. Wirklich. Tatsache, dass mir nochmal Deya in die Schuhe gedrückt wird. Und nicht Mona, Digga, das macht so verbrecherisch. Wollte Bronja. Ja, gut. Egal, Digga, ich muss wirklich die Quest mal machen, sonst gehe ich nirgendwann schlafen. Ich will die Quest heute zu Ende machen und noch Dailies.
Those who died in Tatara
unglaublich.
Suna because of me deserve another chance at life.
Hey, Valadier! Don't do anything stupid!
You know, I never did like insects. Hordes of the puny things swarming together can be a real nuisance. And I enjoy nothing more than to stamp them out like the pests they are. But if a colony of harmless ants isn't threatening anyone, I guess they deserve to be left alone.
So, ich gehe da mal. Alles klar,
Luckily,
Sushi.
everything
Abend
can be
noch.
set right.
Auf
It's time to
Wiedersehen.
solve this once and for all.
Ciao, Kakao.
Valadier! Valadier! Uh-oh, he disappeared. Come on, we gotta find him somehow.
Oh, Digga, ich hab keinen Bock. Wie lange dauert die Quest jetzt mal ganz ehrlich? Fragst du ihn, was soll jetzt eigentlich rauskommen?
He's really gone.
Oh, can you hear me?
Nahida!
Traveler, Paimon, Valadier, what happened just now? I was suddenly cut off by some kind of power.
It was the Baladier's fault. He shut you out.
You tell Nahida everything that happened, okay.
I didn't think he'd be capable of something like that with so little power left. Did he keep some of his power hidden when he was defeated? Or did he achieve something beyond his abilities, and it took everything he had?
Where the heck did he go? Ugh, it's all our fault. We were supposed to keep an eye on him. Sorry, Nahida.
Don't be. It's not your fault. Please, let me handle this from here, even though I'm not sure I can solve it. We're running out of time. Follow my lead and get out of Irminsul as soon as possible.
Ja, warum braucht das so lange zum Laden?
We're out! And we're at, an inn or something?
This is an emergency. I'll have to ask you to stay here for now. Everything's arranged, and nobody will disturb you.
No, I want to help you. Isn't there anything I can do?
I'm sorry, but this isn't something I need your help with. Leave this one to me.
An emergency? How bad is it? Nagita, will you be okay?
Don't worry. If my assessment is correct, though there may be some minor disturbances, it won't lead to a disaster. Please rest and recover your strength here until I say it's safe.
Her voice has gone. Paimon can't shake the feeling that something really big has happened. What do you think the Balladeer meant? And why did he suddenly grab onto you before?
Paimon doesn't remember Greater Lord Rukkhadevata, and the Balladeer's question was a strange one. It's hard to explain in full, and the truth might be very distressing for Paimon. Okay. I'll skip the part about Greater Lord Rukkhadevata for now and focus on the Balladeer. Ach kack, du hast ja selbst noch gar nicht Archon Quest gespielt davor.
Nö.
Oh. Egal, ich glaube, out of context wirst du es sowieso nicht verstehen.
Ich
Das spoilere
verstehe
dich
eh
nicht.
nichts, wenn du irgendwas sagst, also.
Sehr gut.
Sind einfach nur Wörter.
Sehr gut.
He wants to change the past? But surely that's impossible!
It's not easy, that's for sure.
Right! You can't just rewrite history. All that stuff happened already in real life. It's like, imagine Paimon drank all the water in this inn. Even if no one was there to see it, Paimon would sure as heck remember drinking it.
Yeah, great example. Was?
So, why does Paimon still have a bad feeling about this? Paimon can't help but feel scared about what he might do. Ooh, Paimon's so
Wine.
confused.
Was? Maybe he wants to erase himself from history.
Huh?
Strong. Paimon, are you okay? Digga, Paimon ist so... Digga. Wirklich, die nervt so, das ist
Sorry.
unglaublich.
Paimon accidentally...
Stimmt.
It's the Balladeer's fault for causing Paimon all this mental stress.
Digga, halt die Fresse, Paimon.
Erasing yourself from history? It's unthinkable. Is that really possible in Irminsul?
Not necessarily, but maybe. I'm just guessing here.
Uh-oh. Paimon's head is overheating from trying to understand what he's up to. And it's still not working.
GPU too low.
Paimon's had it with that
CPU.
little brat. He's been nothing but trouble ever since we met him.
Paimon sagt zu
There's
jemandem
no way
Little
he'll
Brat.
actually succeed, right?
Wirklich.
Otherwise, won't everyone who's
Why
connected to him be affected too?
Was? Bist du leise?
Why I ask?
Das ist einfach nur right back at ya. Jetzt mal ganz ehrlich. Wirklich. Paimon. Indeed, if the Balladeer does erase himself from Irminsul, many people in Inazuma will be affected. I can't imagine what that situation would look like. Worst case scenario, it will affect everyone with a connection to the Raiden Gokaden. Kazuha, Ayato, Ayaka. Will this mean that they'll disappear? Was?
There's nothing we can do about it at this point. Hey, have you got any ideas on what we should do next?
No.
Seems like now there's nothing left for us to do but to go to sleep. But Paimon's still so worried. Paimon won't be able to sleep a wink tonight.
Me neither.
So, how about, we list all our favorite foods to take our mind off things? Heck, if that doesn't work, Paimon's probably gonna collapse of anxiety here.
Anxiety.
Right, I'll start. First dish.
Paimon anxiety.
Munstack grilled fish. Oh, and chicken mushroom skewers. Tea break pancakes. Cream stew. Sauteed matsutake.
The
And green
anxiety
chili
and
chicken.
game.
Almond tofu. Satisfying salad. Oh,
halt die Fresse, Paimon, es reicht auch. Gut, danke. Warum sehe ich aus der Perspektive von Paimon? Paimon, what's wrong?
What was Paimon supposed to be doing just now?
Die Fresse halten.
Paimon was, talking? Huh. Paimon suddenly can't remember what she was talking about. What was it again?
You were getting so worried about the situation with the Bellier that you started listing foods. Oh. Ah nee, das macht Sinn. Er hat sich ja selbst erased. Das heißt, Paimon kann sich nicht daran erinnern. Dementsprechend hat sie keinen Grund, das zu... hat sie keinen Anlass mehr darüber.
So, soll ich kurz mute gehen?
Nee, passt. Ich glaube, ich rede nicht mehr darüber.
The Bellier?
Ja, genau. Ja doch, du kannst vielleicht auch mute gehen. Oder ich gehe
kurz voll mute.
Ich gehe selbst mute, meine ich. Okay. Okay, sick dann. Das heißt, der Balladeer ist weg, dementsprechend hat sie keinen Anlass mehr und sie kann sich nicht mehr daran erinnern. Ah, okay. I see.
Is that a food too? Huh. Weird name though.
Ach stimmt, das macht Sinn, weil der Traveler kann sich erinnern, aber Paimon obviously nicht. Oh no. Paimon doesn't remember the Balladeer, that must mean he actually pulled it off. But how did he have that ability? That doesn't make sense.
What's wrong? Your eyes are like saucers. Was it something Paimon said?
No, it's nothing.
So, the Balladeer. Is that someone's name? Cause it sounds like a nickname or something.
Ich habe hier noch Chips neben mir, das ist actually gut. Ich finde diese Archon Quest sogar voll gut jetzt gerade, also voll interessant gerade. If this is really happening, I need to know what else has changed. Paimon, come with me.
Okay, sure. Where are we going?
I want to go back to Inazuma.
Huh?
Ayato und Ayaka besuchen oder was?
Paimon, but is everything okay? You're acting like this is an emergency.
Let's go over there first. Oh, guck mal, wirklich, dieses Design, also es ist nicht hässlich oder so, es ist immer noch ein gutes Design, aber wirklich, dieses Design sieht so viel schlechter aus als das andere. Ich finde, das andere sieht einfach so viel besser aus. Und das ist ein gutes Design. Das ist ein sehr gutes Design. Aber das andere ist nochmal deutlich besser. Das ist sozusagen sowas wie zwischen A-Tier und S-Tier einfach. Das ist A-Tier, das ist ein sehr gutes Design, und das andere ist S-Tier. Das heißt, warum den Downgrade von A zu S? Ich meine von S zu A. Warum? Naja, es macht Sinn trotzdem. Also, ich habe nichts dagegen, dass man mit Wanderer in Creative Mode geht, aber ich finde es halt trotzdem schade. Naja. Hier dann. Talk to Amenoma Togo. Warte, was hat das für eine Verbindung miteinander?
We've made it to Amenoma Smithy.
Ja?
Ah, it's been a while.
Bro, das war literally gestern. Nee, warte, das war Samstag. Okay, das war vor 3 Tagen, egal. Pardon me, I'd like to ask a question if I may.
Of course. Go ahead.
About the Raiden Gokaden. Would you tell me that story one more time?
No. Now there's a question I wasn't expecting. Very well. I'll tell you what I know once more.
Okay.
The once renowned Raiden Gokaden, comprised of 5 branches. Amenoma, Futsu, Ishin, Hyakume, and Senju. The art of forging practiced by these 5 clans was first taught to them personally by the almighty Shogun. Over time, the 5 branches diverged from one another as generations of bladesmiths honed and perfected their craft until they became 5 distinct traditions. Most of the great swordsmith clans of old have since fallen into decline, and for a long time, only the Amenoma branch kept its art alive.
Das ist gleich
But
geblieben.
fortunately, Kaede Harakazuha recently returned to
Warte,
Inazuma
was?
and took up the mantle of the Ishin art.
Ah nee, das hat sich geändert jetzt.
Now, 2 clans remain of the original Gokaden 5. If my memory serves me right, you yourself were present when he forged the Ishin blade.
Oh yeah, we were. Paimon remembers that now. We learned a bit about the decline of the Raiden Gokaden then too. It seems like such a shame.
What was the reason behind that decline? War es nicht Warte, der hat doch es geschmiedet, ja, aber der hat doch nicht weitergemacht in der originalen Story.
That, my friends, is a tragic tale indeed. In fact, this was not made known to me for most of my life. All these years, I knew of those great clans' demise, but never the cause. Only recently, when the question was on my mind, did I ask Kaedehara Kazuha about this. He told me that, as we are both heirs to a branch of the Raiden Gokunin, it was right that I should know the truth. There is no harm in telling you, but I must warn you. It is a dark and sorrowful tale. The Raiden Gokunin were the targets of a murderous rampage by a vengeful bladesmith.
Vengeful? Why?
400 years ago, so I'm told, there was a catastrophic malfunction in Tatara Suna's furnace. One brave swordsmith heard the commotion and chose not to flee, but he rushed to the scene, hoping to prevent a disaster. Tatara Suna was home to a state-of-the-art forging and smelting operation in that day, and overseeing it was the armory officer. His surname was Niwa, though he had family ties to the Kaedehara clan. Knowing that they had just one chance to save countless lives, Mr. Niwa and the swordsmith leaped together into the furnace. The furnace quickly stabilized, but neither of them made it out. The smith's death, though heroic, dealt a devastating blow to his family's fortunes. His orphan son was left to fend for himself, and grew up deeply resentful at the world. In his heart, the whole of Inazuma was culpable in his tragedy. He hated the almighty shogun for her apparent indifference towards his father's death, and he hated everyone who had done nothing to try and save him. Powerless and destitute, the only legacy he had to pass on to his children was his hatred. Generation after generation bore this grudge, living in utter misery. Alas, if only the story could have ended there. But 100 years ago, the then head of this family reached the end of his wits. He could bear their fate no longer, and yet he could do nothing to change it. Finally, he made a drastic decision to take revenge on the Raiden Gokunin. In doing so, he sought to vent his pent anger and shake the very foundations of Inazuma's forging industry. In his fury, he murdered indiscriminately, killing even bladesmiths from the Hyakume clan which he belonged to. His goal was absolute, the devastation of all of the Raiden Gokunin. But when he came to the Kaedehara and Kamisato clans, his killing spree came to an abrupt end. He failed to catch them unawares. They fought back fiercely, and they did not spare his life. That is why the Kaedehara clan and their Ishin art survived that day. I suppose they were the lucky ones, under the dire circumstances.
The legend of the Raiden Gokunin has changed. Someone else attacked the swordsmith, smithy. Looks like the Balladeer did something in Irminsul, but seems Niwa still died.
Was there anything else you wanted to ask?
Have you seen Kazuha recently?
Kazuha? Why, yes. Just yesterday, in fact. We spoke for a while over some tea. He seemed well.
Phew, so he still exists, and he's the same Kazuha I know. Things don't seem as bad as I feared last night. That's all. Thank you very much.
My pleasure.
Don't tell Paimon. There are other places you want to visit too, right? Your expression says it all.
Okay.
You can't hide anything from Paimon. On to the next stop. Lead the way, traveler. Paimon will be right behind you.
Ey Thomas, aber jetzt mal ganz ehrlich, diese Story ist gerade so, denkst so, okay, oh mein Gott, das ist schon, also es ist vielleicht nicht die legendärste Story der Welt, aber es ist schon eine nice Story. Denkst so, okay, nice, will ich zuhören. Und mittendrin kommt wieder Paimon rein mit ihrer ekelhaften Stimme und musst dir wieder alles ruinieren. Denkst so, Alter, dieser ganze Vibe, der gerade aufgebaut wurde, von diesem
Ja, genau
alten
deswegen
Mann.
ist Star Ray ja so nice, weil
Ja.
du den Main Character hast, der
Das
einfach
stimmt.
mal redet.
Das stimmt. Du hast
Darf
halt
er
so...
das?
Scheinbar ja nicht in Genshin. Du sagst halt, du hast dann so diesen Swordsmith mit seiner tiefen und entspannten Stimme, wie er da so spricht über die alten Zeiten und mit den Schmieden und was mit den Familien passiert ist, was zu was geführt hat, und du lernst über die Sachen von mehreren hundert Jahren, von vor mehreren hundert Jahren, und dann kommt Paimon, oh, guck mal, nächste Destination, ja, ich kann das sehen von dir, Digga, halt die Fresse.
Aber wirklich.
Es regt so auf, wirklich.
Die ist so nervig einfach nur, die hat keinen Mehrwert sonst.
Das gehört sich nicht, Alter, wirklich, wirklich. Ich glaube, ich mute mich wieder, weil ich sonst vielleicht aus Versehen spoiler.
Jo.
Traveler, it's been a while.
Hello.
If you're looking for the Commissioner and Miss Kamisato, I'm afraid your timing is unfortunate. They're not here right now.
Oh, okay.
Are they out on business?
The Commissioner is out on business, and Miss Kamisato is standing in for some meetings in the Commissioner's place. If it's urgent, you're welcome to wait inside until they get back.
What do you think? Shall we go in?
Thank you, we'll take you up on that offer. Can we take a walk in the courtyard?
If it were anyone else, I couldn't allow it. But seeing as you're so close with the Commissioner and Miss Kamisato, I think it should be okay.
We'll be heading in then. Thanks.
Warte, das heißt mal... okay, dann ändert sich halt wirklich gar nicht mal so viel.
Hello, dears. Is there something you want to say?
Ma'am, can I ask you a couple of questions?
Of course, traveler. Yes, I know who you are. Miss Kamisato has told me about you. What would you like to know?
How are the Commissioner and Miss Kamisato these days?
Oh, they're both very well indeed. Lately, Miss Kamisato has been rather busy attending all kinds of meetings and occasionally paying visits to some local organizations on the Commissioner's behalf. As for the Commissioner himself, well, you know, busy as ever. That much hasn't changed. Although, he does seem to be in a rather good mood these days.
So pretty much business as usual in the Yashiro Commission, huh?
Very much so.
Ayato is still the Yashiro Commissioner. Ayaka is still the lady of the house. No changes there. As far as I can see, nothing changed in the Yashiro Commission either. I was expecting as much, but still a big relief to know that the Kamisato siblings are both safe and well.
Well, got any more questions?
That's all for now. Many thanks.
You're very welcome. In fact, I would love nothing more than for you to come and visit more often. But I'm sure you must be far too busy to have time for that. Miss Kamisato talks about you all the time. She seems so thrilled to have you as a friend, and she's always saying how talented you are and how much she admires you. I must say, many things in Inazuma seem to have taken a turn for the better since you arrived here. So you're not just Miss Kamisato's knight in shining armor, you know. You're a hero to us all.
I'm flattered. Okay. Ey, die Statue da hinten sieht voll nice aus. Von hier. Aber seit wann hat sie solche Flügel? Also ich weiß, dass da solche Dinger sind, aber mir fällt jetzt auf, dass das sowas wie Flügel sind.
I mean it. Whenever the Commissioner dines at home, Toma always joins him. I always find myself at my most relaxed when I'm serving the two of them and listening to them chat away. The Commissioner has such a busy schedule that he doesn't always have the chance to take his meals at home, but given the opportunity, he always prefers to dine here. They say it's because Toma's a much better chef than most. Oh, the commissioner is so fond of home comforts. They get to talking about you sometimes too, you know. Always with a very fond tone. The way one would talk about dear old friends around whom one can truly be themselves. Miss Kamisato occasionally joins them as well. Whenever the whole family gets together and they start talking about people they've met and experiences they've had, you always get a mention. It's been many years now since the late Mr. and Mrs. Kamisato passed away. Much has happened in the Kamisato clan in that time. As someone who is old and gray enough to have watched their son and daughter grow up, it makes me so happy to see them meet a dependable friend whose company they enjoy so much. So, in the future, if you ever do have the time, please know you are always very welcome at the Yashiro Commission headquarters. There will always be at least one old lady who would be delighted to have the pleasure of your company.
Thank you very much. I will visit again. Thank you. The people of the Kamisato clan are very dear friends to me. Okay.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Paimon likes it here too. Also, you were saying something about the food here being really great. Paimon's itching to try it. We may just have to invite ourselves around for dinner sometime. Paimon meant we should come pay a visit again real soon. Ideally around dinner time.
Of course. You're always welcome.
Alright, goodbye for now. Where are we going next?
Tatarasma.
Great! Goodbye, ma'am! Don't worry, we'll see ourselves out.
All right, then. Take care now.
Oh
man, das dauert echt voll lang.
Are you two leaving already?
Yep, everything's taken care of now. Don't worry.
Very well. Safe travels. Goodbye.
Xavier ist busy. Oh mein Gott, ja, irgendwie hätte ich es mir denken können, dass ich Tatara Tales nicht durch. Heilige Scheiße, oh mein Gott, ich hasse es. Egal. Xavier. Warum muss meine Arco-Quest von so einem Müll geblockt werden, Alter? Okay. Also, was soll ich machen? Tatara Tales. Dann mache ich wohl noch erst Tatara Tales. Thomas, kannst du es glauben, dass meine Archon-Quest von einer Drecks-World-Quest jetzt in Inazuma geblockiert ist, obwohl ich eigentlich in Sumeru gestartet habe?
Boah, ich hasse sowas. Das war früher immer bei Dailies so, dass der und der Typ ist in der Quest gefangen.
Ja, aber dann kannst du halt einfach... Ja, gut. True.
Aber ja, das machen die oft so.
Ja, das ist so ehrenlos. Also, ich kann hier mit Shinchu hier existieren, aber wenn ich nach Liyue gehe, also ich weiß, dass er da ist, ich gehe da jetzt nicht hin, dorthin gehe, zu diesem Buchland, dann steht dort auch Shinchu. Da habe ich 2 Shinchus hier. Okay, ist in Ordnung. Dann gehe ich hier hin, will einen Charakter, will eine Story Quest machen. Dann sagen die, aber nee, guck mal, das ist eine andere Story Quest, du darfst nicht. So, hä? Warum? Egal. Das ist Miyuki. Dann gehe ich zu Xavier halt. Ach, das ist... Die stehen direkt nebeneinander. Ah, nee. Was? Seriously? Ich habe die Quest nicht mal gestartet. Oh mein Gott. Aber ich muss trotzdem... Alter. Ich habe die Quest nicht mehr gestartet und ich kann keinen der Charakter ansprechen, die ich ansprechen muss. Beziehungsweise den einen kann ich nicht ansprechen. Aber der ist scheinbar in dieser Quest drin. Okay, sorry, Mann. Is there something I can help you with? What's all this Mikage Furnace and Tatarigami talk? Ah, ja gut. Kein Wunder, dass es mir so komisch vorkommt, dass ich noch nie gelesen habe. It's just a small problem we need a little time to sort out. You're an adventurer, aren't you? This place isn't suitable for you or your ilk. Get out of here. Okay, soll mal. Get out of here. Miyuki. How did it come to this? What's this Mikage furnace that you guys were talking about earlier? You're an outnet, aren't you? You've got some terrible luck to have traveled to Inazuma at this time. This island is called Tatara. It's a smelting plant for jade steel. Are you aware of the legends of Inazuman swords? The jade steel manufactured here is the reason that Inazuman swords are as sharp and durable as they are. So it's a weapon material? It sounds top secret. It's not that big of a secret. After all, the Tenryou Commission feels that having the ability to forge powerful weapons is something they should flaunt. A few years ago, for the purpose of expanding production capacity, they hired a team of consultants from Fontaine. They built the Mikage Furnace, a machine that can fully harvest the power of the Tatarigami. Okay, es macht jetzt Sinn, weil ich habe jetzt die Quest dazu gespielt. Ich spoilere dir mal nicht allzu viel. Aber jetzt macht's Sinn, jetzt habe ich auch das. Jetzt erwerbe ich erst das Hintergrundwissen zu dem, was in der Archon Quest passiert. Okay, gut. Es macht Sinn. We've warned them countless times not to let their guard down when it comes to the Tatarigami, but they decided to go ahead with the project anyway. Ich würde davon ausgehen, dass du sowieso diese World Quest schon mal gespielt hast.
Diese was?
Die World Quest hier. Das ist nämlich eine größere World Quest.
Ah, die mit der Shrine Maiden?
Nein, eine andere.
Ich glaube, ich habe die nicht fertig gemacht.
Ja, die hast du schon gespielt, wahrscheinlich. Egal.
Keine Ahnung.
After the Mikage Furnace.
Wenn du mir jetzt irgendwas erzählst über die World Quest, erinnere ich mich hier nicht dran.
Ja, true. Ich würde mich auch nicht an sowas erinnern. Egal. After the Mikage Furnace started production, most of the consultant team returned to Fontaine. Only Xavier, who we just mentioned, stayed behind in Inazuma. Ja gut, ich kann ihn trotzdem noch nicht sehen, geil. But during one of the previous battles, something went wrong with the furnace. The part that stored the corrupt Tatarigami energy became extremely unstable. Work was halted in Tatarasna and everyone was evacuated shortly after. Wobei es ist fast schon besser, dass ich die World Quest jetzt erst spiele, weil jetzt könnte ich das halt nochmal sehen, dass die World Quest actually so ist. Weil hätte ich die World Quest vor einem Jahr gespielt und ich würde jetzt die Archon Quest spielen, die sich darauf bezieht, dann hätte ich überhaupt keine Ahnung. Ich wäre durchgeskippt durch diese World Quest wie kein zweiter. Hätte nichts gelesen, selbst wenn ich was gelesen hätte, hätte ich sowieso alles nach einem Jahr vergessen. Und dann würde ich jetzt so sagen, was, da wäre ich genauso verwirrt. Aber jetzt habe ich zumindest... Ja gut, das ändert eigentlich fast gar nichts, aber egal. Xavier took emergency action and he seems to have set up containment dome around the Mikage furnace. Achso, Niwa ist der Typ, ist der Kopf sozusagen von der Smithing Family und Xavier war der Smith, mit dem er reingesprungen ist. Dessen Namen man nicht bekommen hatte. Macht Sinn. It's only a temporary solution though. He's probably still on the island now, trying to figure out a way to... Warte, nee, nevermind, ich bin absolut behindert. Das macht gar keinen Sinn. Das war vor 400 Jahren, da ist er gestorben. Wahrscheinlich ist es Xavier. Alter, heilige Scheiße, ich bin so geistig behindert. Trying to figure out a way to solve the problem for good. Meanwhile, the Shogunate is only concerned about restarting production as soon as possible. I hear that they are even considering calling the consultants from Fontaine back again. But I don't think that they'd be willing to come under the current conditions in Inazuma. It just has to be that Hanbei guy in charge of this whole thing, doesn't it? Who's Hanbei? Manager, you could say, always going on about procedures, articles and applications. His first reaction is never to find the solution to the problem. Instead, it's about what forms should be filled out and which powerful individuals need to be informed about the incident beforehand. It's probably in the city right now preparing to submit whatever forms he can find. I really don't know if he's actually aware of the severity of the situation. I just hope that Xavier or our craftsmen can find some way to solve the problem. If something were to go wrong with the Tatarigami inside the Mikage furnace, well, if that happens, you should probably leave the island. This all sounds pretty serious. It'll affect our adventures for sure. Won't someone think of the poor treasures? That's true, but didn't she mention that someone named Xavier is trying to find a solution? Digga, und das sagst du direkt vor ihrer Fresse. Das macht auch Sinn. Yeah. Why don't we go and take a look? I'd put our minds at ease if you could help take care of this, wouldn't it? Oh, Digga. Look for Xavier. Ach, das ist die Quest, um diese Insel freizuschalten. Ja, sorry. Oh nein, jetzt. Ich habe die erst vor einem Monat auf einem anderen Account gespielt. Oh, nee, warte, das war dieser Account. Aber doch nicht. Doch, das war der andere Account. Tatara Tapes. Warum so hässlich? Okay, gut, dann Xavier. Let's go. It's hopeless. Hello, are you Xavier? Nee, das steht ja nicht nur irgendwie über ihm oder so. That's right, Xavier's the name and the name is mine, but it's a but is it fate fair or foul that we should meet at this time and place? Pray tell, fine lad, who are you? I'm just a helpful adventurer. I'm here to help out. To help out, you say? I say from the looks of your attire, we two are fellow Inazuma files, on a pilgrimage of passion. A rare pleasure, my friend. I must say I'm touched by your kind intentions, but I must also apologize for being frank in saying that I don't believe there's any help you can offer. On the way here, did you happen to see a protective cover that looks like a bubble? No, I didn't. Yes, I did. Oh, okay then. No, that makes sense. The containment dome's not usually visible. If you want to view it from a distance, you have to employ a specific observation technique. So, how do you do it? Surely you can see it either. Not with my eyes, that's for sure. I view it by availing myself of this work. The Mikage Furnace Emergency Responsive Procedures Trial Version. Ach, Digga, jetzt weiß ich auch, was mit... Ah, jetzt verstehe ich auch, was mit diesem komischen Furnace gemeint ist. Ich hatte mich schon gefragt, was für Furnace, als ich das gespielt hatte auf meinem ersten Account. Aber ja, jetzt macht's Sinn. Und ja, Thomas, das hast du definitiv gespielt. Das ist das, wo du Kanazuka Island freischaltest, diese Mitte da. Ich bin mir sehr sicher, das hast du.
Welche Mitte?
Kanazuka Island, diese... Kennst du Watatsumi?
Ah, ich glaube,
genau,
ich habe das mal... Aber ich glaube, das ist so mehrschichtig.
Nee, das ist einschichtig. Ich rede nicht von...
Oh, dann habe ich es nicht fertig, glaube ich.
Das hast du safe fertig.
Nee, ich glaube
Du hast die Insel freigeschaltet.
Dann ja, aber das heißt ja nicht, dass ich glaube, ich habe es angefangen, aber nicht fertig gemacht.
Doch, dann ist fertig. Ich hatte es schon mal gespielt, das ist fertig. Glaube ich.
Okay.
Aber müsstest du fertig haben.
Ich weiß nicht.
Ich glaube schon.
1000 Meter.
Ja, true. I followed the instructions to the letter. Based on the readings given by the instrument, it seems that the dome has been successfully activated. Ah, one other thing I should mention is that, technically speaking, its official name is Mikage Furnace Emergency Containment Dome. Now, as for the Mikage Furnace, Miyuki already explained. Please give me... Miyuki already explained. Fantastic! She's a considerate and capable young lady. Ah, what a blessing it is to become acquainted with one such as her. But whatever happens, I've now sealed it following the Mikage Furnace Emergency Responsive Procedures in brackets trial version, so the problem is almost certainly contained to a certain extent. To a certain extent? Well, it might be 893 pages long, but the trial version has no information on the emergency measures applicable in a wartime scenario. We need to form an editors group for a trial version, expanded version, in brackets first issue, and have a detailed discussion on additional emergency scenarios. Anyways, point being, even though I have followed the emergency responsive measures, they aren't the most complete, and the environment within the containment dome has turned, less than ideal, shall we say. The Mikage Furnace is now ceased operation indefinitely, and that soldier is getting incredibly antsy about it. Allegedly, Miyuki recently borrowed some of his people to arrange for the evacuation of the civilians, not that it really got him riled up. Ha ha ha. Was? Achso, okay. But if things continue like they are, who knows, Tatara might just turn into a glorious firework, visible all the way from my dear home, the beautiful town of Petricha. When you say firework, could it really get that bad? In the worst case scenario, yes, it could. We've not yet reached the stage, but if it gets that serious, you'll look to the procedures for future guidance. Precisely, but considering it mostly deals with insurance claims and lawsuits and the like, I was rather hoping it wouldn't come to that. Recently, though, the instrument is indicating that the containment dome I activated is a little unstable, but I don't know what or where the problem is. Back in my beautiful homeland of Fontaine, we would normally have a vision-wielding expert diagnose the problem. Then we would form a dedicated review panel to discuss and raise proposals to prove a solution, then organize the remedial work. But with Inazuma being the way it is right now, all I can do is try to determine what might be going on through naked eye observation and my imagination. In short, you're taking a best guess. Best guess? My dear boy, please. This is a woeful, inadequate representation of what goes on. A fairer description would be an observation and inference drawing on a wealth of professional experience, including analogous previous cases. Okay, so an educated guess. Precisely. So, my guess is that it could conceivably, potentially, possibly, probably be an issue with the device containing the Tatarigami core that is having a knock-on effect on the containment dome I installed. But even if that's the case, the reading given by this instrument seem off. Something must have happened outside the dome as well. So you're just missing your vision bearer, yes? So you're lacking someone capable of investigating. Yes, that's it. Under the current circumstance and the area around the Mikage furnace, only a vision bearer would be, well, safe. Anyone else would probably make it around 3 paces. Except for me, I'm a special case. Haha, I have croaked about halfway through taking my first step. In short, if we only knew what exactly was going on with the Mikage furnace, I'd likely be able to formulate a repair plan, but we'd still need a revival panel to approve it. Wait, it would only take one person to fulfill the function of a review panel. Aha! So we're all set. Allow me to take a look. Huh? But it doesn't look like you have a vision. I have my ways. Is that so? Alright, you've swayed me. It's not technically proper procedure, but we shan't achieve anything by just sitting on the issue. And I suspect that if we left that soldier to handle it, this report would still be sitting in his superior's chest of drawers, gathering dust as the island was being blown sky high. Let me pack up here, then we'll head off. In any event, we need to get closer to the Mikage furnace to get a better idea of the situation. Perhaps you should go and investigate the surrounding area while I'm packing up. These strange readings must have something to do with whatever's happening in the Mikage furnace. Pack up? Has that been approved by a review panel? Actually, as representative of the present review panel, I've already granted myself authorization to pack up and strike camp. So no need to worry about that. Ah, okay. Warum habe ich mir das Ganze jetzt durchgelesen? Für 10 Minuten oder sowas? Ich habe keine Ahnung.
Eine sehr gute Frage.
Digga, jetzt mal ganz ehrlich. Das ist halt wirklich, die Hälfte davon ist einfach nur Bullshit, die ihr labert. So, ja. Was soll das?
Ich stell mal vor, du bist die Person, die das schreibt. Ich denke mir bei so Sachen immer, irgendwer hat das geschrieben, weißt du?
Ja,
Jemand hat sich den Dialog ausgedacht und musste sich tatsächlich so musste das machen. Das ist voll anstrengend.
Das war ehrenlos. Das war ganz ehrlich. Ich will hier was killen. Ah, stimmt, ich hab nur die R auf die.
Scatter!
Ich bin so ein Profi. Eigentlich nicht, aber egal. Digga, wie viel IR hat mein Traveler? Wobei 197 gar nicht so wenig, aber es ist trotzdem zu wenig auf jeden Fall. Wie viel Crit hat der? Digga, mein Travel hat so trauriges Crit. Was hat der für ein Circlet? Oh, okay, das ist schon sehr Kopium.
Kurz weg.
Ah, alles klar. What a huge rift. Check what's on the containment dome. Rifts looking more dangerously by the second, okay. Oh Mann. Ich muss wahrscheinlich die ganze Quest dann sogar machen, das dauert voll lang. Ich hab keinen Bock mehr. Warum habe ich nicht einfach das Ding da oben genommen? Ich tippe mich einfach wieder nach oben. Wait, warte, ist hier überhaupt... Ah, ne, da... Ne. Ach, da ist es. Ja, okay. Ich bin dumm. Mann, was hier rein. This rift is huge. Best we keep our distance, okay. Ich sag einfach das Gleiche. Gut. Warum sind so viele Elektrokiller? Wo sind die? Ich hab ihn doch getroffen. Let's go. Propagate. Permeate. Dissipate. Für Cookie dann. Das klingt voll komisch. Wenn man das so dran hintereinander hat. Warte, ich muss hier nach unten. Oder was Sack? Ach, hier. Ah, vertue ich.
Germinate! Let me read you a verse. Know my soul. Bond is strong.
Scatter! The wind rises. Upon the gale.
Okay, und jetzt gehe ich zurück zu Xavier. Mann, Digga. Warum? Vielleicht hätte ich ihn auch einfach freischalten sollen. Naja. Phew, this situation looks stable at least. The situation with the Mikage furnace? Yes, indeed. From my observation, the internal build-up of Tatarigami energy doesn't seem too high. The reasons I initially activated the dome was to stop people from going inside, mostly because of the legal liability it puts on us. Basically, if too much energy accumulates inside, then this dome is completely useless. The main thing here is that everything's looking good right now, so it's happy days. No need to pore over mundane details at this point, so how's the dome looking? It's got 3 rifts in it and a whole load of Fatui. Rifts? Wait a moment. Fatui? What are those Slishness 9s going all the way out here? Whatever it is, it can't be good. You've got that right, but if the current issue with the Mikage furnace are the Fatui's doing, then that complicates things. Goodness gracious, how can this be happening? I'm just a humble engineer. I only wanted to come here to do a little research, do some filming, get a taste of Inazuma's delightful culture, etc. So ein Weeb, Alter. Dieser Lampe ist auch so in seinem Gesicht. How did I go from that to being caught up in this whole mess? It began as a simple technical issue. Then that soldier turned up and all of a sudden it's somehow a process issue. Then somewhat during said process is transformed again into an Inazuman domestic affair that Outlanders are strictly prohibited from interfering in. And now the Fatui are here. If it goes on like this, the nature of this problem is going to change quite radically indeed. It's all the Fatui's fault. Whatever. I'm here now and I'm the only person capable of resolving the issue with Mikage Furnace. Technically ignoring it would be a complicated decision both in terms of process and in terms of who has just jurisdiction over it, but I can't just leave it unresolved. Perhaps I just need to accept that for a researcher this is just the way life is, or as we say in Fontaine, c'est la vie. Kein Plan, wie man das ausspricht, jetzt mal ganz ehrlich.
Die Franzosen in Fontaine.
Ich weiß. Aber eben deshalb kein Plan, wie ich es aussprechen soll. If the Fatui are really here to try and get their hands on the Tatarigami energy inside the Mikage furnace, then the containment dome should be a major stumbling point to their plans. Were those rifts also? Indeed, there is no doubt in my mind that the Fatui are at least tangentially related to those rifts. I see. So it's those cracks in the containment dome that are causing my instruments to give these anomalous readings. I must say that they are very stealthy. They managed to make it all the way here, damage the dome, and access the inside of the Mikage furnace without anyone finding out. The Fatui are good at acting in the shadows. If that's the case, there's a real possibility here that they've actually made it inside. If they are left to their own devices in there, what if they destroy the Mikage furnace? Are the Fatui really so reckless? If it exploded, they would share the same fate as everyone else. I wouldn't put it past them. Dear me, they're truly daring. First things first, we must find a way to scare them off. Give me a moment to think. I've got it. Since they decided to sneak inside the Mikage furnace quietly, it must mean that they wish to avoid a direct confrontation with the shogunate. So all we need to do is mask some sort of big dramatic gesture to make them think that the shogunate is already onto them. That might just make them much more cautious in their approach, which will make our investigation much easier. Dramatic gesture? Do you know of the Kamui-jima cannon? It's a big gun, built using the latest technology, powered by electro. The shogunate had a few of them installed on this island for military purposes, since this is where the front line was, but as the war went on, things changed and now they are currently sitting there unused. Things changed? What exactly? You'd have to ask our soldier friend, but I'm sure he'd only tell you that he's not at liberty to disclose classified military intelligence. If you want my take, I think the shogunate's army underestimated the sophistication of the enemy. Gut, dass in der Main Story der Krieg schon lange ist.
Ja.
Aber gut.
Ist praktisch.
Macht Sinn. Der Krieg ist schon längst und Frieden wurde längst ausgehandelt. Shogun hat sich geoutet als Introvert und Otaku. Aber ja, gut. I guess. They installed the Kamui-jima cannons, hoping to
Ich meine, das ist aber halt wirklich eine Quest, die man voll am Anfang macht, eigentlich.
Ja, ich habe sie halt nie gemacht. They installed the Kamui-jima cannons, hoping to halt Sangonomiya's advance with overwhelming firepower. But although the Kamui-jima cannon does indeed pack quite the punch, it has a limited field of fire and is not very mobile. Most importantly, big artillery guns like these need several people to operate them, and maintenance is a real headache. Trying to defend the Mikage furnace and the Kamui-jima cannons at the same time meant that our soldier friend and his comrades were spread much too thinly. So ultimately it actually gave Sangonomiya an opportunity. After making it past the Kamui-jima cannon's field of fire, they quickly took down the forces guarding the Mikage furnace. Before the Shogun's army could get emergency reinforcements to the Mikage furnace, they had already withdrawn from there and started attacking from a different direction. Constantly being dragged back and forth kept the Shogunate's forces fully occupied, so when the Mikage furnace started having problems, they were forced to halt production. Meanwhile, the Kamui-jima cannons installed on the wild became essentially useless against the kind of tactics employed by Sangonomiya's side. Suffice it to say that as far as the fight on this island went, Sangonomiya had the upper hand. So did Sangonomiya damage the Mikage furnace? I don't think so. They should be well aware that the Tatara army sealed inside would treat Sangonomiya and the shogunate any differently from each other if the Mikage furnace was destroyed. All they want is to continuously harass and attack the Mikage furnace to be a nuisance to the shogunate's army and slowly wear them down. I wonder who it is that is planning all these precise attacks from Sangonomiya's side. Ah, okay, und dann weiß man vor der Archon Quest, ja, das sind die Fatui selbst. Well, that's enough chit-chat. Whatever the case, the Kamui-jima cannon will definitely cause an unimaginable ruckus, which is just what we need. As a result of some miraculous coincidence, I actually know how to operate the cannon. Does this miraculous coincidence have to do with Fontaine? Well, haha, I don't get deep into it. I won't get deeper into it, but we do have other technologies besides just maintaining and producing equipment. Are you going to fire at the furnace directly? As I've said before, the containment dome is meant for stopping people from entering. The Fatui have already broken through, so that much you've seen with your own eyes. Though it may seem like it's just a few small tears, the truth of the matter is that the dome is actually barely holding up. If they are left unchecked, even if the Mikage furnace is alright, they'll definitely find other ways to cause problems. If we don't destroy the dome, we'd have to go through the 3 tears that the Fatui made to repair the Mikage furnace. We'll be fish in a barrel for the Fatui to shoot. But if we destroyed it altogether, not only would it shock the Fatui and provide us with an advantageous opportunity, it would also allow for us to have more routes to choose from. Besides, if we can repair the Mikage furnace in time, everything will return to normal, even if we do destroy the containment dome. Have a little faith in me and in the marvelous technology of my homeland Fontaine. Come, let me mark the locations of the Kamui-jima cannons for you on your map. Don't we need to prepare some projectiles? Normally wood and the cannons use a very special type of projectile. That's why the Shogunate is so lax about leaving these huge cannons in the wild. But as I've said before, it happened to know how to operate this sort of cannon. What I also know is how to make use of electro to bypass our projectile-related limitations. But since neither of us has a vision if we are to get a hold of some stable elemental power, we should go ask the treasure hoarders if we might borrow a few of those curious small bottles in which they seal some. Just leave it to me. Then on behalf of our special review board, I will be entrusting you with this task. I'm confident that we will make a wonderful team. Digga, warum kann er seine Fresse nicht einfach halten? Warum? Egal. Es dauert einfach 10 Jahre.
Likes to talk.
Ja, Digga. Das dauert so lange, das ist unglaublich. Jetzt one week. Alter, das dauert halt so lange, das riecht so auf. Das ist eine komische Chest, die werde ich jetzt definitiv nicht freischalten. Ich würde sagen ein zweites. Und damit sollte ich es treffen können. Oder ich bin einfach nur schlecht in Wut. Ich bin so ein Profi, Alter. Kann ich theoretisch jetzt schon von dort aus rein? Ich habe damit ja essentially das hier freigeschossen.
Too slow.
Habe ich gerade ein hässliches Viech gehört? Egal. Kann ich jetzt schon rein oder? Ne, es ist immer noch blockiert. Ah, okay, so dann. Und hier ist noch eine Kanone und dort hinten ist noch eine Kanone. Oh, geil. Monster-Artefakte. Two-Star-Artefakt. Luxus, Mann. Hä? Ich würde sagen, auch hier 2 noch oben. Ich weiß ja noch. Das sieht fast schon zu weit. Nee. Ich glaube, das sollte stimmen ungefähr. Aber das könnte zu weit oben sein. Ah, nee, passt perfekt. So ein Profi, Alter. Ist heftig. Ich bin einfach zu gut für dieses Game, das ist unglaublich. Da muss ich nochmal die Domain, die andere freischalten. Ich würde es aber gerne erstmal ohne die Kanone machen. Wenn ich schalte die Domain ohne Kanone frei, ich schalte es einfach gar nicht frei. Ja, was? Ich glaube, das sollte ungefähr passen. Alter. Call mich ein Aim-Gott in diesem Game. Ah, kacke, ich werde weiter teleportieren. Ah, ne, Knock. Okay. Egal, ich gehe einmal kurz hierher. Und es gibt einen Use actually für Lolly-Charakter. Und weißt du, welches ist, Thomas?
Nope.
Das zeige ich dir gleich. Ich mach dir gleich einen Discord-Stream, Moment.
Aber schnell, weil ich will schlafen gehen jetzt.
Digga, kacke. Ich wollte eigentlich noch die ganze Archon-Quest spielen, aber das funktioniert nicht.
Das funktioniert nicht.
Die Sache ist halt, wenn die auf einmal sagen, du sollst eine große World Quest noch dazu machen, dann...
Hört's auf.
Ja. Ach Digga, das macht mich wirklich absolut toxisch, das ist unglaublich.
Ich bin drin.
Warte. Ich muss kurz schauen. Ich hol kurz Sayu. Sayu ist wahrscheinlich sogar noch mein Lieblingscharakter Charakter von den kleinen. Weil die einfach cool ist, die kann rollen. Okay, du gehst hier rein. Moment, du kletterst erstmal, oder? Kannst du klettern? Hier. Gehst rein. Ah, Kacke. Egal. Dann mach ich so, du stellst dich hin und bist dann... Ey, vor kurzem hat's noch funktioniert, Moment. Moment. Das kann nicht sein, das kann nicht sein. Das kann nicht sein. Nein. Okay, da muss ich vielleicht Cheat nehmen oder sowas. Warum will dieses Ding mich angreifen, Alter? Warum kann ich es nicht treffen, ey? Warte. Das kann nicht stimmen. Dann nehme ich mal Chichi. Mit Chichi hat es bestimmt funktioniert. Dann nehme ich... wo ist die? Chichi. Und statt Chinchu nehme ich mal Yelan, weil Yelan größer ist. Okay. Ich gehe hierher. Warum funktioniert es nicht mehr? Jetzt? Ah! Und ich bin drin. Easy, Mann. Easy. Easy, mich in die Domain reingeglitscht, wo ich eigentlich nicht rein können sollte. Vertrauen. Ich bin so ein Profi. Dafür, das ist der einzige Grund, weshalb ein Lolly-Charakter gut ist in diesem Game. Der einzige. Kann sich durch Sachen durchglitschen, eventuell. Und hier ist irgendwo... Ja. Ich glaube, ich mache noch die World Quest irgendwie und dann die Archon Quest mache ich morgen zu Ende oder so. Ich muss halt nämlich noch... Ich muss nämlich hier noch eine World Quest machen. Ich muss hier noch erstmal die Archon Quest machen und dann nochmal eine World Quest machen. Ich musste davor schon erstmal eine Story Quest machen und für die Story Quest nochmal eine Story Quest. Das heißt, für das Event musste ich erst eine Archon Quest spielen, für das ich eine Story Quest spielen musste, für das ich eine Story Quest spielen musste und in der Archon Quest musste ich jetzt dann nochmal eine World Quest spielen. Digga, ich hasse es. Ich hasse es. Aber es kommt vielleicht einfach davon, dass ich das Game nie richtig gespielt habe. Naja.
Well.
Ah, also, Kacke, ich hab vergessen, ich muss noch Dailies machen.
Gute Nacht. Ich wünsche dir noch viel Spaß bei den Dailies.
Danke. Ciao, Mann. Ciao. Oh no. You're my back. My, that was loud. My eardrums are still ringing. After hearing the cannons, the Fatui will most certainly suspect that the Shogunate has become aware of their activities. Still, something seems off here. Why hasn't the Tatarigami energy begun to leak out after the containment dome has destroyed? Could it be that some of the Mikage furnace's systems are still operational and have already purified some of the energy? Or perhaps the Fatui are collecting that energy. Whatever the case may be, please take this opportunity to go and find out. Watch out, it's the Fatui! Was?
Frozen. Chris, you'll get frostbite.
Things are about to get dicey.
Oh.
Here! Spring force! Scatter!
We've only just
Our bond is strong.
too far.
Faster.
Unfortunate fault.
Droppen wir nicht mal was Energy. Was ist das denn? Goodness me, they don't beat about the bush, do they? This is how the Fatui roll. The lack of care for the delicacies of law are really... Well, the further they are from me, the better. It seems like their target is Tatarigami energy, which is within Mikage Furnace. Go check up on the status of the storage device inside the Mikage Furnace, whilst the Fatui are distracted by all this ruckus we're making. If you encounter any Fatui, why take them out? I have every confidence in your ability. Warum muss er so viel sprechen? Jetzt mal ganz ehrlich, das ist so unnötig. Hör einfach auf, irgendeinen Much zu labern und du sparst 10 Stunden, ey.
For justice.
Das ist unglaublich. Die ganzen Charakter, die reden so viel. Und das ist immer so belangloses Zeug, das sie labern. Es macht nicht mal wirklich besonders großartig Sinn. Es ist einfach nur irgendwie ja so ein Ich glaube an dich und ja und dieses und jenes, du schaffst das und Freundschaft und oh, viel Erfolg bei keine Ahnung was.
Witness the power of Gugwa.
Oh, come on. Oh, come on!
Busted. Our bond is strong. Game's up. Fun's over.
Bro, ich habe überhaupt keinen Plan, was gerade abgegangen ist.
Let me read you a verse. Quietly now.
Oh mein Gott, Digga.
Winter shall eventually come.
Das Excellent von Chinchu hat jetzt noch weiblicher geklungen als sonst.
Stand with me.
Also no offense. Macht ja auch Sinn, ist ja ein weiblicher Sprecher, aber trotzdem. Was ist das? Artefakt? Artefakt, let's go. Was ist das? Oh, Hammer. Warte, was mache ich überhaupt? Warum würde ich dort hochklettern wollen?
Our bond is strong.
Warte, wo ist der Elektro-CD? Wo geht der? Ja, erstmal gehe ich dort kurz in die andere Richtung. Was ist das hier? Das ist alles ein bisschen useless. Ah, hier ist ein Electrokiller, den sammle ich einfach mal ein. Andere Electrokiller sammle ich nicht wirklich ein, aber trotzdem. Da sammle ich auch nicht ein. Das gebe ich ja.
Rain outlines your... Stand with me.
Alter. Lügt mich so jetzt mal ganz ehrlich.
No, my soul. Busted.
Nein! Das war's mal. Ah,
Easy money.
This should be the Mikage furnace. Ah, so wirklich. So you mentioned that there's a device that contains the Tatara. Should be the one. To record and take it down with me. Take a picture. Ja, okay. Weil ich glaube, dass ich mal sogar stehe. Das sieht cool aus. Was soll ich jetzt machen?
Take it easy.
Did you find the device? Yes, and I took a picture of it. Let me take a look. Good, good. It hasn't suffered too much damage. If all the other emergency systems are working normally, most of the energy circuits inside the device should have been cut off already. That I would consider great fortune, even amidst our many miseries. I have a few more preparations to make, and I also need to give the problems we face here at the Mikage furnace some thought. Come, find me after a while. We still have a lot of work to do here. Oh Gott. Es geht weiter. Ah. Nee, Digga, alter, heilige Scheiße. Besser ist es, Alter, du hässlicher Xavier. Das ist viel besser. Gut, aber da halte ich erstmal einen Stopp. Also, Digga, das geht nicht. Ich bin wirklich so durch, Digga. Es ist 10 nach 11. Heilige Scheiße. 2 Stunden, also 9 nach 11. Ich habe genau um 10 angefangen. Ne, genau um 9 Uhr angefangen. Das heißt, ja, geht 2 Stunden, 9 Minuten. Ah, heilige Kacke. Ich gehe jetzt dann bisschen Resin spenden. Also ich gehe jetzt Dailies machen und so. Aber ja, das reicht dann erstmal für heute mit dieser Archon Quest. Oh mein Gott, das ist so ein Pain, dass Archon Quests geblockt werden können von so einer World Quest. Die World Quest war jetzt theoretisch relativ gut passend dazu, aber die müssen wir eigentlich davor machen, weil die Archon Quest ist tausendmal besser. Natürlich. Und ja, hat mich jetzt ein bisschen aus dem Vibe rausgebracht, weil eigentlich der Archon Quest Vibe war voll nice, aber das jetzt war ein bisschen annoying. A little bit infuriating. Egal. Ja gut, ansonsten morgen werde ich es wahrscheinlich weitermachen. Morgen habe ich ein bisschen mehr Zeit. Eigentlich wollte ich heute noch Musik lernen, weil ich übermorgen schreibe, aber ja, dann halt nicht. Dann halt nicht. Achso, ich müsste eigentlich ja auch noch heute Englisch-Hausaufgaben machen. Ich habe gar nichts gemacht. Geil. Aber okay, gut, das reicht dann. Dann jetzt mein Grinding. 77, ne 78, 2. Ja.